So next is the lecture 2 in the module 1. So in this part you are going to study in detail the architecture of the 8051 microcontroller along with the pin diagram. So first is the architecture of the 8051 microcontroller. So this diagram shows it is the block diagram or internal diagram of the 8051 microcontroller. So here we can see the central processing unit. So the central processing unit, so this unit, it monitors and controls all the operations. All the operations which are carried out by the microcontroller will be monitored and controlled by the central processing unit, which is used to carry out various arithmetic along with the logical operations. So this CPU, it internally consists of the arithmetic and logical unit along with the register A, register B, program status word, stack pointer, program counter along with the data pointer. Along with this register, it has a special function registers. So next is the ROM unit. ROM stands for the read-only memory. So in 8051 microcontroller, it has the 4 kilobytes of the ROM, in which you are going to store the code of the program, which cannot be altered. The permanent memory that you are going to call it as a ROM memory. 8051 microcontroller will have the 4 kilobytes of the ROM, which is used for storing the program code. So next is the RAM. RAM stands for the random access memory. It is a temporary memory. 8051 microcontroller has 128 bytes of the internal RAM. So next is the I/O ports. 8051 microcontroller has the 4 8-bit I/O ports which are configured as P0, P1, P2 and P3. 8051 microcontroller will be available in the form of an IC, 40-pin IC. Among the 40 pins, the 32 pins, they are configured as the 4 8-bit I/O ports, which are labeled as P0, P1, P2 and P3. So next is the interrupt control. Interrupt means disturbing the normal sequence of the execution. 8051 microcontroller has totally 5 interrupt sources. The first 2 interrupts will be the hardware, remaining 3 will be the software. 8051 microcontroller total has a 5 interrupts. INT0, INT1 are the 2 external hardware interrupts. TF0, TF1 serial port. So these are the 3 internal interrupts. Interrupt means disturbing the normal sequence of the execution. So next, 8051 microcontroller will have the 2 16-bit timers or counters. So when you are going to make use of the timers, whenever you want to generate the delay, in that case you are going to make use of the timers. So counters are used to count the number of events happening outside the 8051 microcontroller. So these are labeled as T0 along with the T1, which are 16-bit in size, which can be configured either as a timer or as a counter. So next is a serial put. So in order to establish a serial communication by transmitting or receiving the data bits. So to carry out this serial communication, 8051 microcontroller will have a serial put. So this serial port will make use of the 2 pins, TXT pin along with the RXT pin. TXT stands for the transmit pin, RXT stands for the receive pin. So next is the oscillator. So this oscillator, it is used for providing the clock signal to the 8051 microcontroller. So this is the block diagram of the 8051 microcontroller. So next is the features of the 8051 microcontroller. So we already discussed these features while explaining the block diagram. 8051 microcontroller will have the 8-bit CPU with the register A along with the register B. So next is it has a 16-bit program counter along with the data pointer register. Third one is it has a 8-bit program status word. Fourth one is it has the 8-bit stack pointer. Fifth feature is it has the 4 kilobytes of internal ROM, 128 bytes of internal RAM memory. And this 128 bytes of the internal RAM memory, further we are going to classify into 3 categories. 4 register banks, each containing the 8 register. The second one is 16 bytes, which may be addressed at the bit level or at the byte level. 80 bytes, which are used as a general purpose data memory. So this 128 bytes of the internal RAM memory, we are going to further classify into 3 categories. So next feature is the 32 input output pins arranged as a 4 8-bit ports, P0 to the P4. It has a 2 16-bit timers or counters, T0 and T1. Full duplex serial data receiver or transmitter. The full duplex transmission we can carry out by using a SBUF register. SBUF stands for the serial buffer register. .8051 microcontroller will have the control register. The control register are TCON, TMOD, SCON, PCON, IP and IE. TCON stands for the timer control register. TMOD is the timer mode register. SCON is the serial control register. PCON is the power control register. IP stands for the instruction pointer. IE stands for the interrupt enable. Total it has a 6 control register. And next feature is it has a 2 external and 3 internal interrupt resources. INT0, INT1 will form an external interrupts. TF0, TF1 serial interrupt, that is RI and TL will form an internal interrupts. So next is the oscillator and the clock circuits. So these are some of the important features of the 8051 microcontroller. So next is the detailed block diagram of the 8051 microcontroller. Already we have seen the block diagram of the 8051 microcontroller. So this is in detail block diagram of the 8051 microcontroller. So here first we have the arithmetic and the logical unit, ALU. So this ALU, it is of the 8-bit in size and it can perform the arithmetic and the logical operations on the 8-bit data like addition, subtraction, multiplication, logical AND operation, OR operation, XOR operation, rotate operation. So all those operations, arithmetic and the logical operations will be carried out by using the ALU, and this ALU will be of the 8-bit in size. So next we have the register A. So this register A and the register B. So this register A and the register B. So this 8051 microcontroller, it totally consists of the 34 general purpose register. Out of the 34 general purpose register, the 32 are available in the register banks. Remaining 2 registers are the register A and register B. So this register A and register B, they will hold the results of the many instructions, particularly the mathematical and the logical operations of the 8051 microcontroller. So the remaining 32 registers, they are arranged as a part of the internal RAM memory in the 4 register banks which are labeled as P0 to the B3. So this register A, so it is the most versatile of the 2 CPU registers, and it is this register A, it is also called as an accumulator. And this register A, it is used for all the data transfer between the 8051 microcontroller and any external memory. And this register A, it is used to store the result of your all the arithmetic along with the logical operations, and it is used to transfer the data between the 8051 along with the external memory. So then you are going to make use of this register A. This register A, it is also called as an accumulator, which is a 8-bit in size, which is used to store the results of the arithmetic along with the logical operations, and it is used to transfer the data between the 8051 along with the external memory. So next is the register B. So this register B, it is also an 8-bit in size. So this register B, it is used with register A for the multiplication and the division operation. So next one is the program counter along with the data pointer. So both will be of the 16-bit in size. And each of this register, it is used to hold the address of a byte in a memory. And this program counter, which is a 16-bit register, which is always used to hold the address of the next instruction to be executed. And this program counter, it is automatically incremented after every instruction byte is fetched. And this program counter, it is the only register that does not have internal address. So next is the data pointer register, which is called as a DPTR. So this is made up of the two 8-bit registers, DPH and DPL, which are used to access the memory address for the internal and external code access along with the external data access. So this data pointer register does not have the single internal address. A separate address it is assigned for the each of the 8-bit register, that is DPH and DPL. So next is the stack and the stack pointer. So stack, it is a temporary memory area which is used to store the data temporarily. So this stack, it refers to the area of an internal RAM which is used to store and retrieve the data. And this stack pointer register, it is an 8-bit register which is used by the 8051 microcontroller in order to hold the internal RAM address. So that is called as a top of the stack. So whenever you want to store the data into the stack memory, first you are going to increment the stack pointer before the data is stored during the push and the call instruction. And it is stack pointer, it is decremented after the data is stored during the pop and the return instruction. So after reset, the stack pointer will be initialized to an address of 0007H. So whenever it is storing the data, you need to increment the stack pointer before the data is stored. So whenever you want to take the data, decrement, then after the data is restored. So this stack you want to make use of when you want to execute the push, pop, call and return instruction. So next is the flags and the PSW. PSW stands for the program status word. So these flags, they are the 1-bit registers which are used to store the result of the certain program instructions. So some of the instructions, they are going to test the condition of the flag, and based on that certain decision they are going to take. In these flags, they are grouped inside the program status word and power control register. 8051 microcontroller will have the 4 math flags and 3 general purpose user flags. So this general purpose user flag that can be set or reset as the programmer is going to decide. So the math flag include the carry flag, auxiliary carry flag, overflow flag and parity flag. And the user flags includes the F0, GF0 and GF1. And you have the register select bit, RS1 and RS0. So these two bits are used to identify which of the four general purpose register bank is currently in use by the programmer. The remaining two flags are GF0 and GF1. So these are stored in the power control register. First we'll see the MAC flags. So first one is the carry flag, which is represented as C1. So this flag is set whenever there is a carry out from the D7 bit. And this flag is affected when you are going to carry out the addition or the subtraction operation. So next is the AC. AC stands for the auxiliary carry flag. So if there is a carry generated from the D3 to the D4 bit, then this flag will be set. That means whenever the carry generated from the lower nibble to the higher nibble. Nibble means the 4 bits will form one nibble. When the carry is generated from the D3 to the D4 bit, then the auxiliary carry flag will be set in the set state. So next is a parity flag. So this parity flag, it will reflect the number of ones in the accumulator register. If the register A, if it contains an odd number of ones, then the parity flag is set to 1. If it contains an even number of ones, then the parity flag is set to the logic 0. So next is the overflow flag. So this flag is set whenever the result of the signed number operation, if it is too large, causing the higher order bit to overflow into the signed bit. So in case of the signed number operation, only the 7 bits they are used to store the magnitude part, whereas the last bit, that is MSB bit, it is used to indicate whether the number is positive or negative. Whenever the number is MSB bit is 1, the number is negative. If the MSB bit is 0, the number is positive. So in case of the signed number operation, so whenever the carry generated from the D6 to the D7, then you are going to say this overflow flag is the set state. So here you can see the register select bit RS1 and RS0. If both are equal to 0, 0 means then you are going to access the register, any one of the register in the bank 0, whose address ranges from the 00 to the 07. If RS1 is 0, if RS0 is 1, then you are going to access the register in the bank 1. If it is 10, you are going to access the register in the bank 2. If it is 11, then you are going to access the register in the bank 3. So these are the address of the 4 registers. So next we'll see one problem based on the different types of the flag operations. Show the status of the carry flag, auxiliary carry flag and parity flag after the addition of the 38H and 2FH. So here 38H and 2FH, they are represented in case of the hexadecimal. H indicates that it is hexadecimal representation. So 38H, it is represented. Here the each number, it is represented using the 4 bits. 38H in hexadecimal or in binary is 0011 1000. 2FH is 0010 1111. So you need to add these two. After doing the addition, for the result you need to tell what is the status of the 3 flags. So 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 0 with 1 carry, 1 plus 1 is 0 with 1 carry, 1 plus 1 plus is 1 with 1 carry. So 1 plus 0 is 1, then 0. So here you can see your result. The result is 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 1. So when the carry flag is set, whenever there is a carry out from the D7 bit. So here there is no carry generated, so the carry flag will be reset to the logic 0. Auxiliary carry flag means if the carry generated from the D3 to the D4, that means from the lower nibble to the higher nibble. So in this problem there is a carry generated from the lower nibble to the higher nibble, so the auxiliary carry flag will be set to 1. So next is a parity flag. So you need to check the number of ones. So here you have the, how many number of ones? You have the 5 number of ones, which is an odd number. So the parity flag will be set to the logic 1. So next is the pin configuration of the 8051 microcontroller. So 805 microcontroller, it is available in the form of a 40 pin IC, out of which the 32 pins they are configured for the 4 IO ports which are labeled as P0, P1, P2 and P3. Each of these ports will be of the 8-bit in size. The remaining pins are VCC, ground, external 1, external 2, RST, external access, ALE/PROG bar and program store enable pin. The 8051 microcontroller, it requires a plus 5 volt power supply and is designed for the minimum clock frequency of 1 megahertz and the maximum clock frequency of 16 megahertz. So next we'll see each of these pins in detail. What is function of the each? So first one is a port 0. Port 0, it is an 8-bit bidirectional port and it has a multiplex low order address and the data bus. That is AD0 to the AD7. A represents an address, D is a data. Next one is a port 1. It is also an 8-bit bidirectional port. Each of these pins can be configured either as an input or as an output. So next is the port 2. It is also an 8-bit bidirectional port. So whenever the external memory is used, then higher order address will appear. Higher order address means it is from A to the A15 will appear on this pin. So if you are going to access the external memory means, so on the port 2 pins, the higher order address will be available. Otherwise, these port pins will be configured either as an input or as an output. So next is the port 3. Port 3, it is also an 8-bit bidirectional port with dual functions. And each of these pins can be configured either as an input or as an output. RST. RST stands for the reset pin. So if you are going to apply a pulse to this pin, the microcontroller resets or it will terminate all the activities. The program counter it gets loaded with the value of 0000H. So next is the RXT and the TXT pin. RXT stands for the receive data pin. TXT stands for the transmit data pin. So whenever the want to transmit the data out of the 805 microcontroller means that can be carried out by using the transmit data pin. So when you want to receive the data from outside to the 805 microcontroller, that can be carried out by using the RXT pin. So next is the INT 0 bar and INT 1 bar pin. 805 microcontroller has the two external hardware interrupts, interrupt 0 along with the interrupt 1. So these two pins you are going to make use in case of the timers along with the counters, and they are always triggered by the external circuits. So next is the timer 0 and the timer 1, T0 and T1. So these are the two 16-bit timers or the counters available in case of the 805 microcontroller. So these can be used either as a timers or as a counters. So whenever you want to generate a delay means, you are going to configure them as a timer. So whenever you want to count the number of events occurring outside the 805 microcontroller means, then you are going to configure it as a counters. So next is the RD bar and WR bar pin. So these are the active low enable pin. So whenever the RD bar pin is equal to 0 means the microcontroller reads the data from the external RAM. So when WR bar pin is equal to 0 means the microcontroller writes the data to the external RAM. So next is the external 1 and external 2. So these are the crystal oscillator pins. 805 microcontroller has an on-chip oscillator, but it requires an external clocks to run it. The quartz crystal oscillator will be connected to the inputs external 1 and external 2 by using the two capacitors. And this oscillator frequency may range from the 4 MHz to the 40 MHz. So next is the program store enable pin. It is an active low enable pin. So it is an output pin which is used to access the external program memory. So whenever you want to access the external program memory, so then you are going to activate this pin. So next is the address latch enable pin / PROG bar pin. So this pin it is used for demultiplexing the address along with the data. So we are going to multiplex address and data and it is transmitted over the port 0 pin. So whenever you want to separate them, you are going to activate this address latch enable pin. So if this address latch enable pin, if it is equal to 1 means the port 0 will provide the low order address. If it is equal to 0 means the port 0 will provide data. So last one is the external access or programming supply voltage pin. So it is an active low input pin. So whenever the external access pin is equal to 1 means the 8051 can access the 4 kilobytes of internal ROM and external ROM of 60 kilobytes. So whenever this external access pin, if it is connected to the ground means all the program, whatever you are going to fetch, that will be directed to the external ROM memory. So next is the internal memory organization. So in this we'll see the internal RAM memory organization. So 8051 microcontroller will have the 4 kilobytes of the ROM and 128 bytes of the RAM. So this 8051 microcontroller will have the 128 bytes of the internal RAM memory. So this is a diagram for the internal RAM memory of the 8051 microcontroller. So this 128 bytes of the internal RAM memory, it is again organized into 3 sections. In the first section, the 32 bytes from the addresses 00 to the 1FH, that will make up the 32 working register, which are organized as 4 register banks of 8-bit in size. The 4 register banks, they are numbered as 0 to 3 and they are made up of the 8 registers which are labeled as R0 to the R7. Each of this register can be addressed by its name or by its RAM address. The bits RS0 and RS1 in the PSW, that will determine which of the bank register is currently in use at any time. So when you are going to do the programming, if the register banks, if they are not selected, means then default it will consider that you are going to access the register in the bank 0. Bank 0, it is selected on reset. The second section is a 16 bytes from the byte address of 20H to the 2FH. So this address you can access by bit also. A bit addressable area of 16 bytes, which will occupy the RAM byte address from the 20 to the 2FH, forming a total of 128 addressable bits. The third section is, it's a general purpose RAM area above this bit area, that is from the 30 to the 7FH, which are addressable as a byte. Totally 80 bytes of the memory will be reserved for this general purpose. So next is a SPR. SPR stands for the Special Function Register. So total 128 bytes of the memory will be located within the internal memory, whose address ranges from the 80 to the FF. So this area, it is reserved for storing the special function register, total of 128 bytes. So not all the locations within this range are defined, only the 21 special function register, they are defined in case of the 8051 microcontroller. The CPU and other peripheral modules will make use of this special function register for controlling the desired operation. It contains the input-output port. This special function register, it contains the input-output ports, control registers for the interrupts, timers, serial port. So totally you have the 21 special function registers only defined in case of the 8051 microcontroller. For this special function register, total 80 bytes of the memory, internal RAM memory, that is from 80 to the FFH. So this area, it is reserved for storing this special function register. This special function register, it includes the it contains the address of the input output ports, control registers for the timers, counters, serial port, for the interrupts. So all those things, they are available in case of the special function register.